Let's make this cute little wooden snowman ornament. The supplies that you're going to need are this cotton cord. I found it in the macrame section, and then some fun Christmas ribbon for his scarf, paper scissors, an orange and black Sharpie, and then this is a little wooden disc that I'm using for the bottom of his hat. I also used a large button before and drilled a hole in the middle, so either way. And then I went ahead and stained that wooden disc, or you could use a brown Sharpie. Then this barrel-shaped wooden bead and these unfinished round wooden beads. And then you'll need some Scotch tape. And to start your ornament, you'll need to wrap one of your ends in a couple pieces of Scotch tape so that it gives it a little bit more structure when you're feeding it through the wooden beads. And then I'm just leaving my cord attached to the spool, and I'm going to feed on 3 of these wooden beads. And then next you can add the disc wooden bead, or you can add your button depending on what you're using, and then that final barrel-shaped wood bead. And then I'm just going to trim off that taped edge, and you'll want to pull out a pretty long tail for the top, and we're going to make a knot for the hanger, and then you want it to be big enough that the beads don't slip through. So just give yourself plenty of room here. So I made that top loop, and then I'm just going to tie a knot to secure that loop. And then with that tail end, I'm just going to wrap that knot a few times just to kind of bulk it up so that those beads don't fall through. I'm just wrapping around, and then I will tuck that final tail through and make a knot. Let me go ahead and pull that tight, and then you can trim that little tail. And then now I'm just going to slide my beads up. And at this point, you want to make sure that your beads are somewhat tight so that they don't wiggle around too much. And I'm just going to cut way more than I needed, but cut a little tail. And then we'll tie a knot at the very base of that bottom bead to secure the beads together. So I'm just making my first loop, and then I'm going to make sure that loop gets all the way to the base of the beads, and I kind of make sure to slide them tight together. So I have my first knot, and then just like I did before, I'm going to make kind of a wrap or a couple knots just so that those beads don't fall through. And then once you feel like you have a pretty big knot, you can trim the edge of that knot, and you have your ornament nice and secure. And now we'll add just a couple details. So cut a length of your ribbon, and then you're just going to, I like to trim the edges just to make them a little bit neater. And between the first two round beads, tie a knot, and you'll make his little scarf. And if you need to, you can trim it shorter and adjust it as you like. And now I'm going to make the face. So I'm using this Sharpie paint marker. You can just use a regular Sharpie too. I'm using that for his eyes and his mouth. So whatever you have on hand, I'm making his two little eyes and his mouth with my black Sharpie. He looks a little scary without his nose. So we'll go ahead and add his nose. And I'm just using a scrap paper before I paint on the wooden bead, just in case the paint, leaks out or something. So I just tested it. And then I'm going to make this little triangle shape that's kind of tilted upwards for his little carrot nose. And now you have your cute little ornament that you can give away, you can hang on your tree.